course, nobody's supposed to talk about that. Many of them still in this movement. You understand what I'm saying? To kill the civic side of this movement, so people can think it's just another black religious Islamic sect. You get? That was their mission, to establish that fake reality, not reality, but that fake appearance of reality, that semblance, that color to the people, which is the color that most people have of the Moorish movement now. And anyone says that's not true is a liar, because that's the concept that people have of this movement. Until we came out and started reaching out to them while everybody else was being silent, condemning us for doing it too. And we put literature out there to change their concepts so they can have something to reference to. You understand? Just like the prophet said do. Exactly what the prophet said do. People mad at us, still mad at us for it. I don't care. Because I'm not in it for them. I got babies. And they got babies. And they got babies, and the babies that's still in the womb. And I ain't having it. And I'm a soldier. I came as a defender when it was wrong. That's why I do what I do. I'm telling you bluntly. And I ain't afraid.
Move the force of the conscious game. Superstars won't spend all those G's just a supercar. I'd rather put the funds to move the force guns. Dr. Sebi remedy in truck skids and tons. Sign and bonus, gift to Gabriel or Evo or UMIA. Let more replace Negro. I'm not the face watcher or friend beggar. I'm not the type to take back what I tell ya. Tight pants and dry clothes. I want a Rockefeller. Black Hawk down, a fly rapper and snap propellers. Airspace in these bars are no flow zones. I heard R&B singers are homo drones. I heard that from a gay rapper dressing so thug. G's can't pass butt cheeks, dressing so snug like a snuggle bear, showing me your underwear. Rapper Inquisition make rappers run from fear of being shown up. You already thrown up, punchlines and hooks leave their face swole up. Or like the triad, if you don't pay what's owed up. Rapper Inquisition, horror flick the lips sewn up. Can't go one-on-one for IHF zone up. Using the fiat and deals, pumping their clones up. Making more rap clones like iRobot. Short circuit the whole industry of rap robots. That butts boinking, working with the ones oinking. Hip-hop's hurting IHF, the vocal ointment. Flow like a break waves and b-boy girl dancers. Spit like pain of old school graphers. Fiend for the true hip-hop scratching like a producer. MC OGs with content that they used to. Fiending for true hip-hop scratching like a producer. MC OGs with content that they used to.
They want make me life hard like pavement. Me no fear to make my statement. Babylon go on with the mental and physical enslavement. Think right now if we all live like cavemen. How much for them dark, how much now go make it. The righteous replace them, the most I erase them. Discrimination, play again with nation. Unity is strength, we weak with separation. Jailhouses meant to deplete elevation. Wisdom is under deep meditation. All you have to see under sleep medication. Herbs are the healing of the nation. Tell them police, they not stop chase, man, especially since we know no fool, no place. That's flirt of the truth. They know say you can't take that. See them chat, yeah, this rasta. Nah, take back, you don't know.
Couldn't grasp half of the shit that we've been through. These clip ass niggas making comments on YouTube. TorontoRappers.com talking about you too. Generation switch, shouldn't have to show you. Big man, go bitch, don't worry about the old school. Haven't seen a man you used to see before. A certain man don't want the face see no more. Get off our dicks, your pussies is horrid. Tendencies of a bitch, you should learn to be a more. And while you're hating, we'll keep repping T.O. and celebrating, cause enough soldiers soon home. We penetrating, got the locks and the codes. So do your own time, bro. We alright. Everybody on their own ground, but we still tight. It's just some miscommunication, which brothers don't fight. You need an occupation, or I forgot you tight. Shit about other man, cause you covered their life. But your business you should mind though, cause we work nights. And you ain't hard to find once darkness comes to light. And I don't care, you can take my flesh life here. I manifest and I come back in your nightmares. And I kill you there, I've been traveling for light years. I can't die, but they won't see you hornier. You won't wake up, need to call the coroner, another wake up. Your boys will be corona, cause they slept. Reminiscing while the morning saying what the. Just yesterday we was blogging with each other. Shouldn't have.
with just another brother and the rest of the camp. 2 decades straight, we've been making our stamp. Yay, I know you say you don't even know me. I make it clear I'm a Flemodon OG. Year to year, made stacks off the Mosies from the block to the bars. I'm known we between the rats and the stars. I play low-key looking down, and it's far at the top, it's getting lonely.
Of course, there are agents that exist, whether or not it's informed by my lips, labeled angelic or devilish, basing the view the beholder gets. The older we get, our perspectives and action change, regardless lines drawn between those that intend to hinder gain. Similar, not the same. People tough to see, they're left to complain. The reference frames change while still thinking life is a game. While we train, this battlefield, knowing when comic kicks is real. My mental plus my tempo must be ready to switch from hurt to heal. It's true to reveal similarities since they be following orders accordingly from trust to destiny. So mercy's unnecessary. Murder honorably was enemy, and as long as common mode exists, an opposition has to be. Contestment up, contestment up. Yeah, contest. I'll flatten your career, make a whack rapper. Too many whack rappers out there. This one's for y'all. Simon, I'll flatten your career, make a whack rapper disappear. Grab you by your shirt back and kick your ass out of here. Bystanders run for cover, cause I'm back to reap havoc. Remember me? To kill them all and make them die tragic. Turn the opposition, cock it back and let them have it. Let them vanish like a magician and raps for magic. And like proof, you're gone. With the proof I'm on. To all you non-substance rappers, if you want, respond. Give y'all a second, but I recognize you're repping some metrosexual shit. That's not the way that I'm stepping. I studied last year's testing, skimmed the cheat sheets. So test me out, kill commercial rap like dead meat. If you don't know, I'm Simon Phoenix and like dead beats. Hung commercial rap on front page, I can't be discreet. Lyrically donkey, leaving bodies in tall heaps. No mortal can walk like I do, now bow and kiss my feet. Call me sire, throw out your skinny jeans and retire. Back you up against the wall with hail or gunfire. Sharp talent, shred your skins and shatter your bones. Stay out of the kitchen, better yet, drop the microphone. Steadily prepping better recipes. I rap till the end, but rap won't be the death of me. Or the shower posse when I catch ya, I wet ya, then blow you up the crime scene. All that's left is your stretcher. So test me now. Make your fans convert. Have them wearing fatigues and burning tight pink ass shirts. Have them dashing out the flashy clothes like I'm not on. Milling your pipe bombs labeled a wannabe rap icon. Check me later, I'm gone. Thought I died, but I respond. My words are bondable, but when I speak, don't respond. I drown shallow-minded MCs in a shallow pond. Mobilize a million men to march like I'm Farrakhan. But I'm more like Malcolm and my brother's son Falcon. Chasing crazy ball heads out of our town after I scalp them. Get up more than you can chew, motherfuckers. Come test me now. So test me now. So test me now.
It's still IHF, still ill, hot and feds. The type to leave a batty guy leaking from his head. Dirty like the naps in my head. The enemy still want me dead, but mentally I cause their bodies to combust spontaneously. I be that ghetto dentist, removing chest cavity with my psychopathic surgery. My incision won't be circular, more like linear. My network stop arising, can you still hear me clear? No more text messages, only mental mind blast to my comrades. Traders never overstand the task. Rather floss in some tight pants, some money in their hand. Big chains and rims spinning. My stone hands will leave your face smashed and ears ringing. Armageddon soon beginning, so there's no time for sinning. When I finally kill the devil, I'ma hear this angel singing. That's a beautiful song.
Iron Sheik 4 Rapper Inquisition. So just carrying on from when we were on the IG earlier. But we're going to another aspect of people who just came yesterday trying to convince you that what the Moors are presenting is not for our people. And they throw Moors in these little different perspectives, like if Moors fit there. So I'm talking a little bit today on some things. I don't go too hard, you know what I mean? whenever we get done going through whatever we're going through. Islam or
Islam, or
you're good or you have to yield for now?
no, I'm good. I'm good. Islam.
Islam. So we want to look at people who present information about Moors from wherever they're at, but they're putting things out into the ethers. So things have to be combated so it doesn't linger. Okay, and this is divine before it's national. Right? And it's still being presented by people who are coming into the information. Which is amazing. Better they come through us than they come through somebody else who's going to tell them some BS. So this idea of Noble Drew Ali and he's plagiarizing. He's the plagiarist. Now we know that when you study Moorish history, there's going to be good and there's going to be bad. There's going to be good, there's going to be bad. Take as much of the good as possible. Take as much as you can of the good of what the Moors did. One of the things that the Moors did that people forget to pay attention to is that they did it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
They need some two families over here to link up for them to come over and help or whatever. No, the Moors did it on their own. And we know that one people can't do it on their own unless they're all in the same space. No, this is not Moors talking again. Right? So we take the bad with the good. Destruction of black civilization, great issues of a race from 4500 BC on. In the Muslim destruction of the Songhai Empire, right, the Moors, because you know anytime you see Muslim, talk about Moors. The main centers of learning with all of their precious libraries and original manuscripts were destroyed first. Then the age-old practice was adopted of seizing all men of learning and skilled craftsmen for enslavement and service to the conquerors. Foremost among those captured and carried off to the Maghreb was Ahmed Babo. There he was treated as an honored guest and instructed to use his great learning in the service of his conquerors, the Moors. Now again, just who were the Moors? The answer is very easy. The original Moors, like the original Egyptians, were black Africans. As amalgamation became more and more widespread, only the Berbers, Arabs, and coloreds in the Moroccan territories were called Moors, while the darkest and black-skinned Africans were called blackamoors. Eventually, black was dropped from blackamoor. In North Africa, and Morocco in particular, all Muslims, Arabs, mixed breeds, and Berbers are readily regarded as Moors. The African blacks, having had even this name taken from them, must contend for recognition as Moors. Must contend for recognition as Moors.
For the record, please.
In North Africa and Morocco in particular, all Muslims, Arabs, mixed breeds, and Berbers were readily regarded as Moors. The African blacks, having had even this name taken from them, must contend for recognition as Moors.
That's their guy telling them.
The African blacks are Moors. What do you call yourself? Black. What do you call yourself? African. So you're Moors. No, we're not Moors. We came from somewhere we just made up. And their scholar is telling them that they're Moors. And that's how they're going to get recognition, by being that. Not any of the other BS that you've been claiming that you should be. And go debate Chancellor Williams. You don't want to hear it. Been told you. Right. Islam, more, you have anything to add before we carry on?
No, just the fact that I don't want to, we've been saying it, you've been saying it, Moore's been saying it for years now. We're not Negro colored black. Noble Ali said it in 1913. So for people to still go around today, almost 100 years later, and still act like, or 100 plus years later, and still act like they don't know who the Moors are, or we're not Moors. Again, they either have to be working for the other side, or just still jealous of the fame and nobility. Because it's a continuous thing, because people are still making videos today saying we're not Moors, or Noble Ali plagiarized something, or, like the way that what the Moors are teaching is incorrect, or and falsehood and stuff like that, when everybody knows once you just pull out, the tools of learning, dictionaries, and pull out stuff from the records, it proves them to be looking crazy. But they still continue on doing it over and over again. The Grand Sheik just read to you their guy, William Chancellor, told him to even be considered, you have to be known as Moors. Like, just to get it started, you have to have some recognition as Moors. You gotta be known as Moors. If you keep playing this black game, African, Hebrew, whatever stuff that y'all make up, you're not gonna get any recognition. Any recognition.
And then you see that when in the writing, when it was blackamoors, black was capitalized. But when eventually black was dropped from blackamoor, black is what you call yourself right now. That's why he's saying that the African blacks, having had this name taken from them too. Not just the North Africans over there, but the African blacks over here had the name Moors too over here. In North Africa and Morocco in particular, black was dropped from Moor.
Right.
and then you're getting called black, and you think they're calling you that because of black and whatever. No, they're calling you that because they're a blackamoor and they dropped the more. They took black off more and started calling you black and stopped calling you blackamoor. Then you think you're black. And then that goes back to the IG that we were talking about earlier, that you make yourself a straw man. You agree to be a fiction. If you agree to be a fiction, then why are you complaining? Go get your chip, shut the hell up. Don't complain now. You're the one that wanted $500 Jordans. Don't get mad at me. And you could only buy that with a chip. The exclusive. So we just wanted to put that out as the intro. That you can't say that what the Moors are presenting is not credible, because Chancellor Williams, you guys guy, said all of us are Moors. So why wouldn't we listen to Moors? Why would we listen to some foreigner? We listen to Levi Dowling, but not necessarily Noble Drawley. Now this is Jackie Smith and Patty Shaw. Do-it-yourself Akashic wisdom. Access to the library of your soul. The legends of the Mesopotamian world included the tablets of destiny, where the fate of all creation was discussed and determined annually. The Hittites, an ancient Middle Eastern group, also referenced tablets of destiny. They believed the goddess watched over the birth of their children and declared the destinies of newborns. The Quran itself is considered Ali's book of remembrance. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali wrote, "This age will comprehend but little of the works of purity and love. But not a word is lost, for in the book of Allah's remembrance a registry is made of every thought and word and deed." The Aquarian Gospel really brings this idea home, 7:25-26. This age will comprehend but little of the works of purity and love, but not a word is lost, for in the book of God's remembrance a registry is made of every thought and word and deed. And when the world is ready to receive, lo, God will send a messenger to open up the book and copy from its sacred pages all the messages of purity and love. Now, if Levi Dowling is a European Scotsman, could go to the Akashic records and extract the Aquarian Gospel from the Akashic records, because he's studied in the ancient arts, you're going to put it on that and not put it on your brother, who could have went to the same Akashic records, got the same information, and prepared something specifically for Moors. That has nothing to do with Europeans or anybody else. Because the Akashic records is a reservoir of intellect. So if European could go dip his cup, Noble Drew Ali can't dip his cup. He doesn't know how, but European knows how. Somebody who was talking about they're the ancient Egyptian student, adept, prophet, and all that. They don't know anything. They had crystals, people using articles, Noble Drew Ali, crystals and magic balls and crystal balls and all this type of stuff. You tell me he can't hit the Akashic records? Oh. So the modern European could get to the Akashic records, but the prophet sent by Allah to the Moorish Americans who didn't know themselves, thought of Negro, black, colored, and all of his prophecies been coming true for the past, 4 months. His stuff just happened. Every 2 days it's something of his. Right? We know that the writings in the both books are similar. Obviously, nothing comes from one source. Like everybody's dipping from the source when they get inspired. Not some secret, you know what I mean, fountain that you got and nobody has access to your water. Like, what are you talking about? And the Quran was prepared for Moors. Aquarian Gospel was prepared for whoever he brought that to. And then you do your research on Levi Dowling and you find out what his organization his dad was part of and how he became part of it and how you know, it's not no conspiracy. And then there's the other side of it where people say, certain people are going to say that Levi Dowling didn't even get it from the from the Akashic records. He got it from Tibet. Which brings in a whole different thing now, because then now it's not plagiarism. And he's been talking crazy on the prophet for years. When this guy got his stuff from Tibet, that's one of his students who said that.
Oh.
Because everybody wants to be the man next to the man.
Yeah.
The other side of the fame and nobility. Now, you don't have to be the next man, but you can be the man under that man. Which is why certain people in certain organizations are in power today. Because they took being the up and coming man. They humbled themselves. Islam, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Man.
I just wanted to question why they haven't questioned Levi Dowling. Like they can come on, and immediately again shun the prophet, saying that he plagiarized Levi Dowling, and leave it there, but nobody is questioning Levi Dowling. They just immediately just diss the prophet. But nobody, why aren't they questioning Levi Dowling? They just mentioning his name like he was some historian, author that, or some type of monk or something that was meditating. None of that happened. That didn't happen. That's not who that guy is, and they never explain who he is. How he used to work for the CIA, none of that. They don't even go in. They don't go in on none of that. None of that. And the CIA, and then when they even use that, Levi Dowling guy, and then if you go do some background check on him, you see he works for the CIA or used to work for the CIA, and you know that the CIA and all the other alphabet boys are responsible for all this BS that's going on today, right now, that we all going through right now. All those alphabet boys got something to do with that. Levi Dowling worked for those organizations. And now the prophet plagiarized from that guy, who the story goes, he got it from the Aquarian, the Akashic records.
No, you work for the CIA. The same people who say coronavirus. Like that's who he worked for, and that's who they're on there having 3-hour people making 3-hour videos to try to say the prophet plagiarized something when the guy who you saying he stole it from, he's the same guy who's saying coronavirus. He worked for them.
But then in the background, talking about Akashic records.
Right.
They got
but then in the background
powers.
saying he like he's a monk.
Yeah.
Like he's been in the in the
went to the chambers. Yeah, went to the chambers.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No, we want to make sure we put this up. We want to make sure we put this out because when Akashic Records comes up, a mind state has to be there with that, right? Like you can't just say Akashic Records and that's it, right? Now this is Enlighten the Body, the Ladina method, Soleil or Rose. It is distributed throughout the body and brain and is found in all life forms. Heavy concentrations of melanin are found in 3 gateway places of the brain, our hearts, and genitalia. If melanin is the substance that allows us to convert or transmute the meaning of waves from one sense to the next, this would give us a practical explanation of what psychics do, keeping in mind that according to physicists, certain waves such as gravity do pass between parallel universes in present time. Also, according to Laszlo, is the proof that our universe has an Akashic record held by electromagnetic waves. It is simply that the psychic is aware of the process of picking up information waves and translating the vibrations. The people who have not developed this capacity, this information is still present, but might be disregarded from the surface mind as background noise, or a person who may sense this information as a vague intuition versus a well-defined sixth sense. So, Juali, who has high concentrations of melanin, can't access the Akashic records and present his findings to his people for their upliftment. That's what Levi Dowling did. If he could do that, why can't we have our master that did that? Like, why is it always, when it comes to the master Noble Drew Ali, people don't like to bring him up and talk about him? They always brush over him and start talking about some other stuff. Why? Just go check for yourself. Just bring him up to people and see where the conversation goes. See if you'll get off that quick. Off that quick. Right? Like, if I had the ability to, or if I even had thought of capturing all the voicemails or emails that we got of people saying how Moorish science saved their life, that in itself would be a book.
Right.
Being how people look at Moorish Science Temple and look at Moorish Divine National Movement and look at you know what I mean, Moorish nation or whatever, and take Grand Sheik and certain things serious, and take it as, yeah, that's, you know what I mean, my representative, so I'm going to reach out to them because that's my representative. The amount of people said, I've been listening to you for 3 years, like I just finally got the courage to call or whatever. Just to say, this information saved my life. Thank you for this information. You always tell them, don't thank us, go thank the prophet. Don't even worry about us. We appreciate the gratitude, but we don't need honors. Because this is just obligation. And you're going to realize again, once you start doing your research, you realize who's who. Just like we were talking to them more on the IG, and he's talking about, he's going to the temple, and temple is church. He's in Cleveland. And the temple is church when he goes there. That he doesn't even want to go there anymore. What do I do? Like, I want to honor Noble Drew Ali and the temple, but I'm not going there. And we're saying that's the young generation. The eyes wide open. No. Little Yusuf go in the temple now, shut these people down. Because they haven't been doing things the way they're supposed to be doing things. And this is where the Masonry part of it comes in.
Yeah.
That we're not talking about some blacks that whatever. We're talking about Moorish Americans who have the Moorish Science Temple as the lodge. Forget they're Masons in some European whatever, and we're talking about Moorish Science Temple. And again, why there was so much bashing, because the elder was putting it out and people were mad. Because when you look at, again, when we talk about, you know, if Levi Dowling went to Tibet to get this information, and it wasn't from the Akashic records, then Noble Drew Ali, as we know who was traveling, would have did the same thing. Whatever monk this dude went to check, Noble Drew Ali had to connect on the monk too. No. Exhuming of a Nation. Lahi Pleasant Bay book.
Real quick, man. See,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
and you know the prophet never said he wrote it neither.
Exactly.
You know, real quick. It says it right in there. He prepared it. It's prepared. It was divinely prepared. He never said he wrote it.
Or authored it, or whatever they want to, however you want to put it. However you want to put it.
So to call Noble Drew Ali a plagiarist in the first place, that's an insult. That's slander.
Mm-hmm.
Just off of the fact of the circumstances. He never said he authored it. Never said he wrote it. and then you call them a plagiarist. How? You never. How? How did you do that? How did you do that? That's slander. That's slander. Right from the very beginning. You don't even have to break everything down. I mean, we did, but just right there, off of just looking at it, he never said he wrote it.
And then they don't want to accept that. They don't want to accept that. That's what it is. You don't debate whether that's a share or not. What are you debating? What are you debating about shares? A simple concept.
They made that up. And once again, making stuff up. You made that up, saying Noble Drew Ali wrote that. You made that up.
Yeah.
Now there's a debate because we got to accept your false paradigm. Now, like I told you the other day, Grand Sheik, I was like, once we just set the foundations down before we start the so-called debate, let's just put the foundations down. Once you put the foundations down,
you realize
we can't even debate.
No debate.
There's no debate. There's no debating. You're crazy. They're crazy people. Like, what do you mean he plagiarized it? He never said he wrote it. Like, why y'all keep doing that?
Yeah.
Never said he wrote it.
Well, they love that. Right, but again, going to Elahi Pleasant Bay with regard to Noble Drew Ali and Freemasonry, because we also want to put this out there. We want to put this out there. When you're doing research, more put this out today. When you're doing research, stuff comes up, and then you have to, use your sense, right? Now, Freemore. Just talk about the Freemore. Finding out about the Freemore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yep. Because they make it Freemasonry, right? Now, C. Freeman L. teaches us, and once you fact check his statement when he says that the word Freemason comes from the German word Freimor, and I think it's spelled F-R-E-I.
Yeah.
M-A-U-R-E-R.
Yeah, I have it up. Yeah, I have it up.
So it's literally pronounced Freimor, but we know in the so-called Greco-Roman way that they write more is M-A-U-R, and they say for Freemason the German word is Freimor, M-A-U-R, and they put E-R at the end, but we know that the word is M-A-U-R. That's more. It means it's Freimor. And then so I was like, okay, let me fact check it. So I typed in the word Freimor, M-A-U-R-E-R. And when I put it in the Google search engine, I don't know if the Grand Sheik, if you got it up right now.
What, the Freimor?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So as soon as you put it in the Google search, it's put in Freimor by itself. And you click search, Freemason pop up. Like the pictures of Freemasonry pop right up.
Yeah.
But the word is right in your face. It says free more. So anytime they say that they're Freemasons, they're calling themselves free Moors.
Yeah.
It's right there in it's the word. It's the word.
More is right in there.
For them to say that the Moors didn't, that's fraud. It's like when they say, well, who recognized the Moor? We're the recognizers. You can't, how can we be recognized?
Yeah.
We did the recognizing.
Yeah.
The question is colored. And then for me to entertain it and start looking for research on how the Moors is, how did we get recognized and try to look for a document? No. Just set the foundations down. We're the recognizers. There is no debate now. There is no debate. Show me a document. They said Obama told them. Clinton told them. They all told them. Morocco. What do you mean? It really wasn't even hidden. And they be like, well, no, your question is colored. The way they even looking at the question, the Moors stole Freemasonry from Europeans, when in the word itself is free Moor. How? They set the foundations down, and you don't have to entertain it. There's no debate. The word itself is free Moor.
When you look, just when you have to look at the word with your first eye. Look at the word with your first eye.
Mm-hmm.
A Mason is a free Moor. That's why they wear fezzes and dress like Moors and call all their stuff Arabic. Because they're being Moors. They're not being Freemasons. That's why a Moor can't really be a Freemason like that. Because you can't be what you are.
Right. Just about to say that. Yeah.
You just have to be it. You can't want to be a Moor. You're that.
Right. There's no turnaround 3 times, 5 times, roll your pants leg up, blindfold, now you're a Moor. No, you were a Moor before you did that. Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing? And now you signed up with some paperwork thing and you paying dues to that organization now, and because you turned around 3 times and was blindfold, now you're the Mason. Yeah, all right. No, the word is free Moor. It's a Moor. The prophet says he's going to teach us how to be ourselves, how to be a Moor. And these people are signing up, doing rituals, going through the works, doing everything they possibly can do to be us. And they sitting there, we're not Moors. These people paying my aunt's husband 50th year anniversary. He's still paying dues. He's still paying dues to be a free Moor. To be a acting free Moor. He's still paying for it. When we just are it. Like the prophet says, you more than just plain rich.
Yeah.
These people paying dues for 50 years to be you. And then they're going to go on there and say, Moors stole from us. Like, what do you mean? Like, it was like Master Teacher Todd said in one of the videos, it's the way that, because the people are confused. So because they're confused, your question is the problem.
Yeah.
I said, dang, man, that's incredible.
Go in and out of.
Because you're confused. Your question is the problem. It's not really what's going on. It's because you're confused. Now you're bugging. Now you're just doing your anger and your emotions is going towards the wrong thing because you don't comprehend what's going on. They told you the sky was yellow. You didn't question it, and now you're debating what type of yellow the sky is. Like, what do you mean? The sky is blue. Why are y'all even debating what type of yellow it is? Like, and that's what's going on.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. You accepted that it was yellow. That's where you messed up at. It's not yellow. Why are you debating that? Oh, it's off yellow. Brother, what are you talking about? And he over here talking about, no, it's like a dark yellow. It's like, the sky is blue.
Dark yellow.
But somebody told y'all that, and you never fact-checked it, nothing, didn't use your common sense, nothing. And now y'all over there debating it, charging people $50, 50 notes to come watch your debate on whether the sky is yellow or... Come on. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. Because the people are confused. And because they're confused, their question is the problem.
Right.
The Moorish stole. Come on, man.
Hey, back to Pleasant Bay. Be advised, do not let any more slip you a hater more Mickey so they can get you drunk enough to accept their teachings. None of us can afford to hate no one more. The cost is too high, especially now that Rome has fallen. If any Moorish American claims to be the sole authority of determining who is a real Chinese or a fake Chinese, and you know he or she is not the prophet, and they ain't been no further than a slave master's prison and brought nothing back but release to hate another more, you become all that you accept. These same second-hand leaders also claim to have the power to give you a nationality. Run from them. They too are crazy. Meanwhile, for those of you who know yourself and Allah, read this. The time you waste trying to prove Drew Ali was a Mason or disproving he is Allah's last prophet is the time you should have used to free yourself and us as a pure and clean nation. By now, the Moorish Americans would have rejoined the families of nations and recognized by them all. Bottom line is, where would we have been if it not for Noble Drew Ali? The short version of this prophets are not Western Freemasons is, know what in this world does a Negro of any position own that Noble Drew Ali could have possibly wanted or used? Look briefly at his historical facts, which will refute such bogus claims. A. When he left the States at the age of 16, he was too young to be a Mason. B. When he returned at age 27, he was an Egyptian adept master from Egypt's high order, plus a Muslim, who had just completed his Hajj in Mecca, thus too wise to become a Western Freemason. Can you see the lies now? Albeit, I've proven the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali was not a member to Western Freemasonry. All others are welcome to present their proof to the contrary. Otherwise, allow this degrading myth to die in the finite duration time from which it came. And again, when you do your research,
They'll never bring that up.
when you do your research, you'll realize that Noble Drew Ali was onto something. And he was onto something bigger than people had minds to comprehend
Yep.
at the time. Right? They weren't ready. They weren't ready. Another thing that they like to, because so just quickly I don't know what happened there. Did the stream stop? Oh, no sound. All right, cool. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It was just all of a sudden nothing on the screen. But everything's still on. So what happened? Time was going and all you saw was the logo and that's it? Guess that's what's up. Yeah, that's weird. They definitely know what they're doing. Yeah, small. 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 There's also you want to be clear that you understand people are gonna do whatever and put whatever out so they can get their little props, but don't play around with Noble Drew Ali tying him to people who you don't even know who these people are. So 1924, remember they talk about Noble Drew Ali copied from this Moor, Abdul Hamid Suleiman. This is a 1924 article. Remember, he's the whole Canaanite temple was started by him, and then Noble Drew Ali took it from him. 1924, Abdul Hamid serving time for attacking some girl. I remember these people were, quote unquote Mason and all that stuff. Then they'll be protected. They'll be going through this BS. People want you to keep thinking that Noble Drew Ali was not the focal point in the 1920s. He was dealing with nationhood. It only makes sense that it would be something that people gravitate to. Now we know that this is some of the same stuff that they're pulling on Noble Drew Ali today. But they were doing this back then. Now the idea again, remember, is that when Noble Drew Ali returns to the Americas and he starts putting this information out, everybody is a fraud now. Because they were all playing that same game of they're the middleman between you and the creator, or whatever you call the creator. All of them were playing the same game. Nobody was talking nationality. Yeah, Ahmadiyya movement, them foreigners coming over here trying to get our people so they can vampire them, because they couldn't pull the stuff they're pulling where they're at, because they vampired their people to oblivion. They need new blood. Right? There's no cults of Mohammedan. Right? We go from, if we go through Noble Drew Ali's literature and people want to mention, that's not, we got convention minutes and all that stuff to know people who were mentioned. We have pictures of people who were mentioned. This whole idea of there's other organizations and, they were before Noble Drew, but doesn't go there. Doesn't go there. They might have been around at the same time. They might have been around before. But when Noble Drew Ali presented the Moors on the scene in the 1900s, Moors had a certain vibration that thing going into 60s and 70s, and certain elders you talk to with their experiences in this, everybody was using this to get out. Because it's the only thing that was really tying you to a nation, all that nation stuff that we're talking. That's why these Moors were able to have their colony in Virginia and all that. And again, using the reference of Dr. York L., the same thing. You are a nation, build it. It can be done once you do it in your free national name, like Noble Drew Ali said, but people want to be the man. And then when they're the man, they forget that people below them are looking at them like the man. And then they're not training them. That's why we don't do it from that perspective when we even deal with temple. That there is some superior authority. Oh, that's Drew Ali. That's it. That's it. So watch who they tie him to. And then you also know, based on, again, the name dropping, who's who. Right? So there's Abdul Hamid Suleiman. No. There's reference to him being a foreigner. Now, how does he have some authority here like that? If he's from Khartoum, Egypt, right? Foreigner. That's why we say, like, when you research Marcus Garvey, they tell you right there, Deuce Muhammad Ali, editor of the Negro World. That's Garvey. Okay, well, Deuce Muhammad Ali is a fez-wearing Moor. What do you mean he's writing for the Negro World newspaper and Marcus Garvey doesn't know about Moors? Really? No way. That's your logic. Impossible. Impossible. Remember, it's just admitted that he's a 96-degree Mason. He's not from here. He's a foreigner. He got nationality. Of course he could be a Mason. Why would Mohammed Ali need to learn from him? Not that he couldn't, but not from the perspective of how people put it. He had a Canaanite temple, and then Drew Ali had a Canaanite temple. And both of them were saying they're the Canaanite temple at the same time, with no issues. And then because of wanting to just know that Drew Ali warned of having foreign Muslims speaking at the rostrum. He would do that and his teacher's a foreign Muslim. Stop this. Why? Does that even make sense? If you got any questions, you can put them in the chat. We don't got too much longer. Time for that amazing lunch. Lunch been calling. Peace and love to all Moors. We're just doing our best to assist people getting their self right. All you should be working on right now is self. You got time. Stop playing. You got time right now. Take advantage. Because all that water sustainability and hospital and whatever, play to yourself if we don't have that stuff already on lock. So we're working with what we got. Islam to all the Moors. Peace and love to all. Keep studying, Moors. All is mental, man is mind. Islam.
We got rituals for damn near anything you want to do, and we can give them to you tonight.
Chris V. Still get it from the intellect reservoir, cosmic surfing. These two sons of God didn't come from virgins. Ether makes up these gods. We rode light angles to the earth plane. Again, trapped in skin, but
We got.
Yeah, I just saw that question right there. Do I have to sign 4 separate proclamation papers and name correction for myself and my children, or can it be on the name declaration, proclamation, judicial notice? Yeah, everybody's gonna have their own. So you got 20 children, and 20 of them gonna have their own. That's the best way to do it. With the inability to provide that many, you would at least have to have all the spaces for each one of them to sign, to autograph, if you do the one. But it would be better for them to have their own personal, because then it's personal. Them declaring their nationality and having the paperwork for it, it now becomes theirs. All right. If anything else, you can send an email. Canaanlandguide@gmail.com. Canaanlandguide@gmail.com. And we'll take you up on that request right there.
Of course, nobody's supposed to talk about that. Many of them still in this movement. You understand what I'm saying? To kill the civic side of this movement, so people can think it's just another black religious Islamic sect. You get? That was their mission, to establish that fake reality, not reality, but that fake appearance of reality, that semblance, that color to the people, which is the color that most people have of the Moorish movement now. And anyone says that's not true is a liar, because that's the concept that people have this movement. Until we came out and started reaching out to them while everybody else was being silent, condemning us for doing it too. And we put literature out there to change their concept so they can have something to reference to. You understand? Just like the prophet said do. Exactly what the prophet said do. People mad at us, still mad at us for it. I don't care. Because I'm not in it for them. I got babies. And they got babies. And they got babies in the babies that's still in the womb. And I ain't having it. I'm a soldier. I came as a defender when it was wrong. That's why I do what I do. I'm telling you bluntly. And I ain't afraid.
Mufti force of the conscious game. Superstars won't spend all those G's just a supercar. I'd rather put the funds to Mufti force guns. Dr. Sebi remedy in trucks, skids and tons. Signing bonus, gift to Gabriel or Evo or UMIA. Let more replace Negro. I'm not the face watcher or friend beggar. I'm not the type to take back what I tell ya. Tight pants and dry clothes, I want a Rockefeller. Black Hawk down, a fly rapper and snap propellers. Airspace in these bars, are no flow zones. I heard R&B singers are homo drones. I heard that from a gay rapper dressing so thug. G's can't pass butt cheeks, Dressing so snug, like a snuggle bear, showing me your underwear. Rapper Inquisition make rappers run from fear of being shown up. You already thrown up, punchlines and hooks leave their face swole up. Or like the triad, if you don't pay what's owed up. Rapper Inquisition, horror flick, the lips sewn up. Can't go one-on-one for IHF zone up. Using the fiat and deals, pumping the clones up. Making more rap clones like iRobot. Short circuit the whole industry of rap robots that butts boinking. Working with the ones oinking. Hip-hop's hurting IHF, the vocal ointment. Flow like a break waves and b-boy girl dancers. Spit like pain of old school rappers. Fiend for the true hip-hop scratching like a producer. MC OGs with content that you used to. Fiending for true hip-hop scratching like a producer. MC OGs with content that you used to.
They want make me life hard like pavement. Me no fear to make my statement. Babylon no one with the mental and physical enslavement. Think right now if we all live like cavemen. How much for them down, how much now go make it. The righteous replace them, the more side erase them. Discrimination, plaguing with nation. Unity is strength we weak with separation. Jailhouse is meant to deplete elevation. Wisdom is on the deep meditation. All you have to see on the sleep meditation. Herbs are the healing of the nation. Tell them police, they not stop chase. Man, especially since we not for no place. That's skirt of the truth. You know, say you can't take that. See the chat, yeah, this rasta. Not take back, you don't know.
Couldn't grasp half of the shit that we've been through. These clip ass niggas making comments on YouTube. TorontoRappers.com talking about YouTube. Generation switch, shouldn't have to show you. Big man, go bitch, don't worry about the old school. Haven't seen a man you used to see before. Cause certain man don't want the face seen no more. Get off our dicks, your pussies is whores. Tendencies of a bitch, you should learn to be a more. And while you're hating, we'll keep repping T.O. and celebrating, cause enough soldiers soon home. We penetrating, got the locks and the codes. So do your own time, bro. We alright. Everybody on their own ground, but we still tight. It's just some miscommunication, which brothers don't fight. You need an occupation, or I forgot you tight. Shit about other man, cause you covered their life. But your business, you should mind though, cause we work nights. And you ain't hard to find what's darkness comes to light. And I don't care, you can take my flesh life here. I manifest, and I come back in your nightmares. And I kill you there, I've been traveling for light years. I can't die, but they won't see you hornier. You won't wake up, need to call the coroner, another wake up. Your boys will be corona, cause they slept. Reminiscing while the morning saying what the. Just yesterday we was blogging with each other. Shouldn't I? With just another brother and the rest of the camp. 2 decades straight, we've been making our stamp. Yay, I know you say you don't even know me. I make it clear I'm a Flemodon OG. Year to year made stacks off the Moses from the block to the bars. I'm known between the rats and the stars. I play low-key looking down and it's far at the top, it's getting lonely.
Of course, the agents that exist, whether or not it's informed by my lips, labeled angelical, devilish, based in the view of the whole, gets shit older we get. Our perspectives and actions change regardless, lines drawn between those that intend to hinder gain. Some of them not the same, feet which others see, they're left to complain. The reference frame change, while still thinking life is a game. While we train, this battlefield, and when karma kicks is real, my mental plus my tempo must be ready to switch from hurt to head. It's true to reveal similarities since they be following orders accordingly from trust to destiny. So mercy's unnecessary. Murder honorably was enemy, and as long as common mode exists, an opposition has to be. Contest me now, contest me now. Yeah, contest. I flatten your career, make a whack rapper. Too many whack rappers out there. This one's for y'all. Thomas. I flatten your career, make a whack rapper disappear. Grab you by your shirt back and kick your ass out of here. My standards run for cover, cause I'm back to wreak havoc. Remember me? To kill them all and make them die tragic. Turn the opposition, cock it back and let them have it. Let him vanish like a magician and rap some magic. And like, poof, you're gone. With the proof I'm on. To all you non-substance rappers, if you want, respond. Give y'all a second, but I recognize you're repping some metrosexual shit. That's not the way that I'm stepping. I studied last year's test and and skim the cheat sheets. So test me now, kill commercial rap like dead meat. If you don't know, I'm Simon Phoenix and a deadbeat. Hung commercial rap on front page, I can't be discreet. Lyrically dumpy, leaving bodies in tall heaps. No mortal can walk like I do, now bow and kiss my feet. Call me sire, throw out your skinny jeans and retire. Back you up against the wall with hail of gunfire. Sharp talent, shred your skins and shatter your bones. Stay out of the kitchen, better yet, drop the microphone. Steadily prepping better recipes. I rap till the end, but rap won't be the death of me. At a shower party when I catch ya, I wet ya, then blow you up the crime scene. All that's left is your stretcher. So test me not, make your fans convert. Have them wearing fatigues and burning tight pink ass shirts. Have them dashing out the flashy clothes like I'm not Tron. Milling pipe bombs, labeled the wannabe rap icon. Check me later, I'm gone. Thought I died, but I respond. My words are bondable, but when I speak, don't respond. A John shallow-minded MCs in a shallow pond. Mobilize a million men to march like I'm Farrakhan. But I'm more like Malcolm and my brother's son Falcon. Chasing crazy ball heads out of our town after I scalp them. Get up more than you can chew, motherfuckers. Come test me now. So test me now. So test me now.
It's still IHF, still ill, hot and fed. The type to leave a batty guy leaking from his head. Dirty like the naps in my head. The enemies still want me dead, but mentally I cause their bodies to combust spontaneously. I be that ghetto dentist, removing chest cavity with my psychopathic surgery. My incision won't be circular, more like linear. My network's not Verizon, can you still hear me clear? There no more text messages, only mental mind blast to my comrades. Traders never overstand the task. Grab the floss in some tight pants, some money in their hand. Big chains and rims spinning. My stone hands will leave their face smashed and ears ringing. I'ma get in soon beginning, so there's no time for sinning. When I finally kill the devil, I'ma hear this angel singing. That's a beautiful song.